center back arrived. 3 clean sheets in his 8 starts so far, and he got it done on the offensive end with the game-winning goal against Knoxville. So he will be key as they try to defend Dorado and the Flying Flamingos. Madison, with a win, can lock up the season series, but they're going to need some fresh faces in order to do it today. A local hero makes his first Hennessy Derby start. We've got starting lineups and kickoff just on the other side of this short break. You're watching USL League One soccer and the Henny Derby, presented by Dairyland Insurance. It's Derby Day in Madison, Wisconsin, as we prepare to bring you the 18th edition of the Hennessy Derby, presented by Dairyland Insurance. Bragging rights and an emblazoned bottle are always on the line in this iconic League One rivalry, But today's mid-September clash will have serious playoff implications as well. So we take a look at the USL League One standings presented by Dairyland. Heading into this match, both teams tied on 23 points. Richmond Kickers with that 1-goal advantage in the goal difference. But the bottom line, these two have a lot of work to do. Matt Glazer emphasized to me that ties are not going to get the job done anymore. They've got 11 this season, and it's time to put some wins on the board. So they are going to be risking it for the full 3 points, and whichever team can claim that in this match will move within 1 point of that 8th spot and the final place in the League One playoffs. Here's a look at how these teams compare. Forward Madison, of course, a high possession team under Matt Glazer, who has a 5-1-2 record all-time against Darren Sawatsky on the opposite side. It's a tough travel for Richmond Kickers, who've only won 1 of the past 7 trips to Breese Stevens Field. But regardless of their differences, one thing that is always true is this rivalry is close. 16 out of 17 times, this has been decided by 1 goal or less. And here are a couple players that we think could define this match. Neither of them played the first time these teams met this season. That was all the way back in March. Forward Madison coming away with a 2-1 victory in Richmond. And this man is their new striker. He came in on loan from Birmingham Legion, and Luca Dorado has been on fire. 5 goals in 16 appearances. He's even got a better goal-to-game ratio than their leading scorer, Derek Gebhard, who, spoiler alerts, will not be available tonight. So Dorado leads the line, and he will be shepherded by the man on the other side, Marcelo Lage, another mid-season addition. He came in late July for Richmond Kickers, and look how much things have changed since the 6'5" center back arrived. 3 clean sheets in his 8 starts so far, and he got it done on the offensive end with the game-winning goal against Knoxville. So he will be key as they try to defend Dorado and the Flying Flamingos. Madison, with a win, can lock up the season series, but they're going to need some fresh faces in order to do it today. A local hero makes his first Hennessy Derby start. We've got starting lineups and kickoff just on the other side of this short break. You're watching USL League One Soccer and the Henny Derby, presented by Dairyland Insurance.
Come see how Dairyland fits your life. With affordable car insurance that fits your budget and 24/7 customer service that fits your schedule. Even if you have coverage lapses or a bumpy driving history, we've got you covered. For 70 years, we've been helping people just like you get the car insurance they need. So why wait? Contact Dairyland today.
Getting the exact vehicle you want is easy at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton. Come in and sit down with one of our sales professionals and build the Volkswagen you want. Pick all the features, order it, and then sit back and relax, knowing you're getting your dream vehicle. The best things in life are worth waiting for after all. Check out our selection online or in person. With new vehicles arriving every day, your perfect Volkswagen could already be waiting for you at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton.
Almost time for the second of 3 matchups this season between Forward Madison and Richmond Kickers, presented tonight by Dairyland Insurance. Let's take a look at our starting lineups first for the home team and Forward Madison. I teased it before the break. There's a new man up top, Dean Boltz, wearing number 99 today, the 19-year-old forward who played locally at the University of Wisconsin, the number 3 overall pick in the MLS Super Draft. Starting up top for the Flamingos. Other than that, a pretty typical 3-4-3 look. And Isaac Anking coming off Team of the Week honors. Pair of goals in the last match against AV Alta. Certainly a creator to keep an eye on in the middle of the park. And it's a similar formation for Richmond Kickers as they have shifted into a 3-back system that will match up well with forward Madison. It is Marcelo Lage, our man to match in the back, to watch in the back. And of course, Emiliano Terzaghi, the all-time leading goal scorer in USL League One, a 3-time MVP coming off of a opening goal against Westchester in that 2-0 win. Matt Glazer has a lot to reckon with up top between the trio of Espinal, Terzaghi, and Kirkland as Richmond gets their best 3 attackers all on the pitch together. Tonight in Madtown, we convene to celebrate a rare rivalry that is truly by the fans, for the fans. For the 18th time, it's forward Madison versus Richmond Kickers. This is the heartbeat of American soccer. This is the Henny Derby. My name is Parker Johnson. Happy to be here with you as we see forward Madison in the alt kilts, which are, we'll call them teal, with the Scottish pattern on them, white tops, blue shorts for traveling Richmond Kickers. Under Darren Sawatsky in his 6th season, looking for just his 2nd win ever over Matt Glazer in this rivalry. And so much on the line in this match tonight. But it's Richmond coming in as the form side off back-to-back shutout wins against Westchester and Knoxville. Madison, meanwhile, a 3-3 result, a wild one in some League One after dark action last Saturday against AV Alta. And before that, a pair of very different games. They had a 3-0 win against Texoma. That was one of their best performances of the season, followed up by a 4-0 defeat down in South Georgia. So sometimes you don't know what you're going to get with this year's version of forward Madison. But early on, it's a strike from John Murphy. Our first action. As Garcia tried his best to follow it up, and it was blocked on out. Madison going with 4 midseason signings in the starting lineup tonight. 3 of them loan signings. We mentioned Dean Boltz up top, Ang King, and Luca Dorado, pair of Birmingham Legion players. And then Jason Garcia at that center back position, who's been an absolute rock in their 3-back system, as there's a foul in the attacking half for forward Madison. And we take a look at our keys to the match. Set pieces are going to be very important for Richmond as they have one to defend here. We show you the keys to the game presented by Burish Group at UBS. And for Madison, a very high possession team, but the key tonight is to take a few more risks. Richmond likes to pressure man-to-man, and so if they can get some extra numbers forward, drag some players out of position, and make that extra run, it could really pay off for Madison in a game where truly they need all 3 points, and it's time to start taking some risks this season. And King's ball a little too close to goal as Sneddon gobbles it up in his first action, the 19-year-old goalkeeper. Down goes Darwin Espinal. No whistle from the referee. The offside flag pops as Kirkland caught behind the back line. He pairs with Emiliano Terzaghi tonight up top. Academy product in Kirkland, and of course Terzaghi, the League One legend himself, back on the score sheet in the last match against Westchester with a classic finish, a scissor kicking effort that found the back of the net early on in that game. Went on to get a second goal from Landon Johnson, who had come in for Kirkland. Looked like he picked up a little bit of a knock against Westchester, but he's good to go from the start. Darren Sawatsky told me that he is back and fully fit ahead of this one. Chris Garcia advancing up the right, flashed in, and over the top. A first chance for Dean Bolts with a sharp run to the near post. The fearless young forward trying to get on the end of the cross from Garcia. It's a good one. Clyde stuck with him. A very positive start for forward Madison in this such a meaningful rivalry match. The Hennessy Derby started by two black supporters of either supporters group, the Featherstone Flamingos of forward Madison and River City 93 of the Richmond Kickers. It's Elliot Barr who put up the bet and wagered a bottle of Hennessy on this very matchup back in 2019 with Kyle Carr, the forward Madison fan. And since then, the legend has only grown. It's turned into so much more than a soccer game, a celebration of black culture, and one that is really about the party off the pitch as much as it is about the game. But the action on the field has always delivered as well. And when you put those two things together, it creates one of the most unique and enthralling rivalries in all of American soccer, let alone the USL. And can you tell by the turnout at Breese Stevens Field tonight? They ran out of tickets earlier this afternoon. It's an absolute packed house on a perfect fall evening. 78 degrees at kickoff. A perfect picture of all the best parts of USL League One. As Sneddon sends it in the direction of Joshua Kirkland's. Back by Garcia, and Madison will take the opportunity to try to get this ball on the ground after a bit of head tennis between the two. You see it so often in rivalry matchups, that feeling out phase in the beginning stages of the match. Hard to go full throttle for 90 minutes, and both teams just looking to avoid that early error. Played out well by Sneddon. He's able to connect over there with Simon Fitch, an all-league right wing back. One of the steadiest pieces for Darren Sawatsky, and part of the reason he felt so comfortable moving into a back three system over recent matches, which has really helped solidify the back line, but it also gives a chance for players like Fitch on the right and Beckett Howell, who has made the left back spot his own, to really get up and down the fields. They will have like-for-like matchups with forward Madison. You saw Damia Villader there, the left wing back for Madison. Chris Garcia plays on the right. He was involved already in this one. The systems sync up almost perfectly on paper. So it will be a lot of individual battles. Here's Dorado on the chase. Sneddon had to be smart off his line. Very positive goalkeeping to be alert to the danger and stop that opportunity before it could even get started. Let's check out our injury report and get a reminder of a couple of the players not involved in this match. You see Eddie Munjoma, Mitch Osmond, the captain at the back for forward Madison, a huge loss this season. No injuries reported for Richmond Kickers. Some of the cleanest bill of health they've had all year. And the other one who's not listed there, but if you missed it from the top, Derek Gebhard, not in the squad tonight for forward Madison. Mr. Madison, the only Flamingo to score more than one goal in the history of the Henny Derby. He has 4 of them. And of course scored both in the first matchup this year as Kirkland hits! And it nearly finds the Purple People Eater back there. But that's a good sign for the Madison back line. No threat to burn Shipman's goal. Kirkland not afraid to take it on himself, rushing off the backside of the net. Kirkland leads the way with 7 goals this season, tied with Darwin Espinal, who will sit just underneath Kirkland and Terzaghi in this one. Dorado making his way through, a long touch, and the outstretched arms and back even of James Sneddon called into action. A clever ball through and a well-timed run from Luca Dorado, who's had a couple chances to try to sneak in behind. He knew it as soon as he tried to take that first touch, that it was a bit too heavy. We've already seen how quickly Sneddon comes off of his line, able to snag that one just in time. The USL on the CBS Sports Network continues in September with the League One battle of old versus new. Richmond Kickers, one of the oldest continually operated active soccer clubs in the U.S., takes on newcomer Portland Hearts of Pine on Wednesday, September 17th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. That is the next match for Richmond. They'll be back at City Stadium. 5 of their last 7 matches this season will be at home. Another indicator of if they can get a result here, that run-in does shape up for them quite well. Portland's been in great form recently, though, so that will be no easy task. And coming just a couple days after this rivalry match, which can be so emotionally and physically taxing, both coaches commenting on that fact that it tends to be pretty chippy when these two play. In addition to the close score lines over the history of the series. All time, Madison holds a 9-6 advantage in terms of wins. They've drawn just twice in the previous 17 matchups. And although Madison does hold that 9-6-2 overall record, Richmond has actually won the season series, which is what hands out the Henny Darby Trophy more times than Madison. They've won it 4 times. They are the current holders. Madison have only won it twice in 2022 and 2023, before Richmond snatched it back last year, and it stayed in the custody of Elliot Barr. It is still with him in Richmond because they still have to play one more time this year, so it will be handed to the series winner after that game, which takes place on decision day, and won't that be a dramatic affair? Played through, Fitch was offside just barely. It almost looked a carbon copy of the goal they scored against Westchester early on, combining on the right side with Seufert and Fitch. Madison able to step their lineup at the appropriate moment. Plucked from the sky by the indomitable Jason Ramos. All 6'4" of him. His second stint now in Madison. Played forward to Christopher Garcia. He waits for the help to arrive. Timmy Mell with the service. Sliding shots! Dorado. That close to an opener. In fact, it was Aiden Macias coming forward from his midfield position. The ball played in by the center back, Timmy Mell. A sensational delivery. It's flat, it's an early cross. It has just enough bend to get in behind. It didn't need much of a touch from Aiden Macias. The post thwarting forward Madison early on. Their second great chance of the game. Both have come from crosses. That is that Matt Glazer style, trying to create some overlaps in the wide positions and then work that in back towards the middle. The freedom of Macias to join in the attack. Likewise, Timmy Mell to come forward from the right center back position. Madison is in full flow. Just about all 11 players on the pitch can hurt you with the ball. Dorado holding off Griffin Garnett. Garcia will be offside here. Both teams holding sturdy lines in the early going. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on Today NA, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. As forward Madison began its celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month with a new pre-match top that was just released. We saw him wearing it in the warm-ups, so we may see one or two throughout the crowd, but 25% of the proceeds going to Raza United, a local cultural organization from East Madison High School. One of the many great causes that this club supports off the pitch, and of course, dazzling with their many new kits. They got the Scottish Highlands version on. One of the highlights from earlier in the summer. Garcia left a mark with that last challenge. It was a bit of a step in there from Griffin Garnett. One of three teenagers in the starting lineup. Garnett, 19 years of age. But according to Darren Sawatsky, he's not a youngster anymore. Someone who can play. Has played previously in midfield, at outside back. So much class on the ball at center back, but that challenge was a little naughty. It left Garcia on the turf and sets up a nice lane here for the left-footed delivery of Damia Villader. He's unable to beat the first man. Seufert headed it away. And Espinal able to win his team a foul. John Murphy Jr., combative as ever. Been a stalwart in midfield this season, picking up 7 yellow cards along the way in his 23 appearances. But he's been one of the real solid pieces for Matt Glazer to rely on this season. So many injuries throughout the campaign. Touched on Osmond. Gebhard now out after starting off with one of, or what will be, regardless, his best USL campaign in terms of goals and assists. But without him for the moment. The likes of Jose Carrera Garcia, thought to be a big piece. Eddie Manchoma, Jackson Dietrich. Garrett McLaughlin missed quite a bit of time as well. The list goes on, and it is the case for so many of these teams. Likewise for Richmond. For the kickers, they've ridden their bad luck by being able to throw in some of those academy players, and the young guns like Josh Kirkland, who signed his full contract almost exactly 1 year to this day. Beckett Howell prepares the corner. Delivery right along the 6-yard box. Comes back out to Garnett. Defended here by Macias. Cross comes low. And King got a touch on it. Bolts applying full speed, but can't keep the ball in play for forward Madison. Bolts with that early opportunity. Manu came in on loan from the Chicago Fire Club. He was playing in Next Pro with Chicago Fire 2, who've had a stellar season in the Eastern Conference. Played 27 minutes against Tormenta, and he gets the start today. What a moment for a guy who only spent one season at the University of Wisconsin, but was a standout second-team All-Big Ten. Taken in the 3rd overall pick of the MLS Super Draft by Chicago Fire. Certainly a player that Matt Glazer had his eyes on nearby. Think about Jim Launder as well, a longtime member of the coaching staff, former Wisconsin coach. Such a big part of the community here in Madison. And it was a sad day on the American football pitch for them, so hoping for a rebound tonight with the World's game and the Henny Derby on deck. 20th minute here. We're so happy that you've joined us from Breese Stevens Field. A beautiful evening for some soccer. And an all-important clash, the second of 3 this season. The final to come on decision day down in Richmond. But it is always a party when the Henny Derby rolls around. And forward Madison trying to pay it off for the fans. They've only got 2 home games remaining this season, including this one. One of their last 6 will come at home, and that is against the fearsome, the mighty Chattanooga Red Wolves. Could become the first team to clinch a playoff spot by the end of the match week. Now the possession beginning to build for the Flamingos. Third highest possession team in the league. They produced the 5th most shots per contest, and yet the lowest scoring team in USL League One. That has been the enigma for Matt Glazer all season. They give the ball away, but Richmond unable to capitalize with a quick pass forward. At times it's been poor finishing. At times heroic defending, and even bad luck, as we've seen him hit the post already in this one. Jake Krull storming his way through, potentially giving the referee a decision to make, but it was a fair challenge as Terzaghi knocks it off to Darwin Espinal. He's got help out to his right. Terzaghi calmly brings it forward. Not a player you want to give too much space around the halfway line. Vern Shipman will have to be on the lookout. Scored a sensational goal from just inside half earlier on this season. And let's get another look at that last run from Jake Krull. Was there a shout for a penalty here? He didn't protest too much, but you don't see every day. Usually a player goes down like that and they're all in the face of the referee, but credit to Krull for just getting up and getting on with it. Surely won't be the final talking point of this match. But again, positivity. We've seen the center backs from either side creating chances. Krull carrying it himself. Saw the cross from Timmy Mell that set up the shot that went off the post. They might have to sign her up for a long throw-in. That's one way that I haven't seen forward Madison try to score this year. I have called a fair few games. Not a lot of space on the touchline at Breese Stevens Field compared to some of the other stadiums out there. But it's been a strategy employed by a lot of teams this season. really been those teams who play a little more defensive, who have a little bit less of the ball, like Chattanooga Red Wolves, like even FC Naples, and at times Spokane. Those solid defensive teams that have done so well. You look at Madison's defensive record and you'd think that they'd be right along in that category. Just 29 goals conceded in 23 matches. And that's after a rough couple of games the last 2 times out. Conceding 7 to Tormenta and to AV Alta. But it hasn't been the case in the standings. The biggest problem for Matt Glaze, they've drawn too many matches. 11 this season, more than anybody in the league. So many of those that they could have won. And ultimately sent the fans home asking for more. As soon as Madison starts to get comfortable in that possessive block, you see a loose pass, you see an interception. So far, Richmond kickers have not been able to turn that into a quick transition opportunity, but on this occasion, Terzaghi winning the foul. Terzaghi is the all-time leading goal scorer, not just in USL League One, but in the Henny Derby specifically. He's got 5 goals in the series. Ball comes over the top. Fitch veers in and draws the flock to life as they jeer his left-footed effort. Willingness early on to shoot from distance for the visitors. Trying to keep the Flamingos honest. Vern Shipman has not been troubled. His next clean sheet will move him into the top 5 all-time in USL League One. It's been a sturdy presence here in his 3rd season in Madison, but Matt Glazer, who was a former goalkeeper himself, did tell me that he felt like Shipman could have done a little bit better against AV Alta. They conceded a free kick goal to Eduardo Blancas, who with that goal set the record for the amount of direct free kick goals scored in a single season in League One. It was his 4th of the year, and so they really could have seen it coming. Weren't able to stop it from pretty far out. Another foul claim right at the edge of the box, waved away. Not sure if that would have been in the penalty area. But for sure, Drew Klemp has let him play early on. Still hasn't been a huge flashpoint. Nearly 30 minutes into this one. The best chances, though, falling to Madison in the early going. And yet, Richmond's danger, especially from the quick turnover, feels like an undercurrent. Quite the opposite of the posture that the first match took on this year between the two. City Stadium back in March, it was Richmond kickers who were all over the majority of the play. 2 transitional moments capitalized by Derek Gebhard. Garcia swerves. It's a great ball across. Nobody lurking in the middle, but Villader is there on the backside for the Flamingos. Murphy attempts to flick. He's closed down by Dakota Barnathan. Look how low the line of confrontation is from the visitors. Terzaghi forced back all the way on the right wing. Jake Kroll is nominally a center back in Madison's setup. He's playing all the way up there, forcing Terzaghi back. But Richmond aren't afraid to do this. Ever since they have switched to that back three, it can become a back five so easily. They've got some great players back there. Marcelo Lage, the man stabbing it away. They're comfortable defending for long stretches. They did it against Knoxville. Had a little more control in the match against Westchester, but both of those shutout victories back-to-back. The first time they've done that all season, and only the second time they've done it in 3 years. Typically a much more expansive team under Darren Sawatsky. But with the chase for the playoffs fully on, he's gone as pragmatic as possible, and it's paid off over the last few matches. It's been the approach here on the road in Madison. Ball played through by Terzaghi. He's onside, signals the referee. Josh Kirkland one-on-one with Shipman, who stands tall. The German wall in front of the flock. And Josh Kirkland will have nightmares about this. Could he have taken another touch? Could he have played Terzaghi in? The options were endless. He almost had too much time to think about it. And you know that the flock end is not about to let him forget. But a corner coming for Richmond. We'll see if they can wipe away that forgettable moment. Two hands out, back post ball. Oh, it almost snuck in as Marcelo Lage jaw to jaw with John Murphy, who's not backing down. He's backed up by Dorado. Spicy, spicy, spicy. We almost just saw what may have been the first Olympico in Henny Derby history. I'll have to check the notes on that, but wow. What a moment. Two great chances in short succession for Richmond kickers. Somehow this match still 0-0. Ball finds the feet of Dorado. Holding up play, draws Lage out of position. Ang King around the corner. Dean Bolts flashes a shot. Around the corner goes Espinal effortlessly. He passes John Murphy. He sprays it across the pitch. And Terzaghi with a rip. Fumbled by Shipman. That has been a problem for forward Madison at times. Giving up rebounds from the goalkeeper, and I think Terzaghi knows it. He has that sixth sense. Terzaghi knows when the momentum of a match is shifting. He knows when the best moments are to strike. Nearly caught out Shipman, and in doing so, almost gave a chance for his teammates to follow that one up. Alert defending from forward Madison. These last few chances have really brought this game to life, coming right in front of that heavy Madison fan base. Well hydrated for the Henny Derby, I'm sure. Oh, what a turn by El Rey. He's cutting towards the byline. Terzaghi wanted to play it across. And he's working his way into this game. It was he who played in Kirkland as well. I feel remiss for not complimenting his Trivella pass on that buildup. And how about this turn, leaving Mel for dead. He waited. He tried to tease a shot with his eyes and eventually went to play it across, but well defended. Espinal calling for calm. Now goes Terzaghi. And I believe he is signaled here for playing on the ground. Referee's got his arm straight up, so this is an indirect kick. It was not a whack or a foul, if you will. It could be a direct free kick offense. Strange one. Garnett not taking any chances. A throw for forward Madison. Here comes Messias. Return to sender. So we remind you that Bear Insurance is a proud supporter of Forward Madison FC. Based in Madison, has provided protection and peace of mind to businesses and individuals throughout the state of Wisconsin since 1928. Into space, and the run did not meet the pass through from Howell. It almost feels at times that Richmond haven't really wanted the ball too much in this match, and when they have gotten it, it seemed a little uncertain. Playing in transition off that instinct created some opportunities. A neat ball from Garcia, taken down by Villader, struck by Dorado, and it was loose, but Macias had his head in the sands. Murphy telling him, hey man, pick your head up. You could have had a tap in there. It all starts from the dangerous delivery of Garcia, and then a mix-up between Sneddon and Garnett. They are very thankful that nobody in the blue shirt was ready for that. Macias, the man that hit the post. And still somehow, I'm not sure he's the player who's come closest, because Joshua Kirkland had a golden opportunity. He was one-on-one with nobody within 20 yards of him but the goalkeeper Shipman. And his shot ended up saved in what really felt like the turning point so far of this first half. A big opportunity each way, and as ever, this derby remains finely poised. Just one out of the 17 all-time matchups have been decided by more than one goal. But most of the time there is a winner. Just two draws in those 17 tight games. So many one-goal wins either way. Madison did win the first match this season, so if they're able to get another one, it would secure the season series even with one game remaining. A draw or a win for Richmond would push that on to the final match. Remarkably, looking back at the series history, they've actually never finished tied in the season series either, which, given the amount of draws in this league and with these teams in particular, you'd think it would have happened at least once by now, but there's just something in the air, or something in that favored drink of this match that seems to give that little edge to one or the other. Garcia shifting again and tricking himself out in the end. Frustrated at the lack of help as his teammates watched him dance. But he was all alone, just the company of Beckett Howell over there, who's going to take his time with this throw-in. Richmond being smart about how they manage this match, even here in the first half. Those final 5 minutes before halftime, always such an important period in a match. Terzaghi navigating up the sideline, throwing down, I believe it's Timmy Mell there. Terzaghi has looked up for it. Darren Sawatsky, the Richmond head coach, had a great line. He said, when Terzaghi's in the mood, even with his elder statesman status, his words, not mine, he can score some great goals for us, and we'd love it if he can keep scoring like he did against Westchester. Torado, not too far away with that left-footed strike. Stabbed forward by Dean Bolts, finding Ang King, but Espinal with some great tracking back. It's a 2-on-1 defensively for Kroll, headed back, and Kirkland was lurking. I think he anticipated that pass back, but there was enough juice on it in the end from Garcia to make it back to his goalkeeper. Reminiscent of a couple shaky goals that they gave up away to South Georgia Tormenta, although it was different personnel back there. Madison's made a mess of plays like that from time to time this season. The comment I got from Matt Glazer is that we're inventing new ways to get scored on every match, it feels like. They've kept the clean sheet so far in the first half after giving up 7 across their last 2. They've got Bernd Shipman to thank. He really had the biggest moment, stopping that Kirkland one-on-one chance. Murphy Jr. plays it low. Ang King. Adair with some venom, but white jersey's able to get in front of it. Terzaghi spreads the play. Fitch doesn't have a lot of numbers ahead of him, though. So much of a defensive shift put in by Terzaghi and Espinal in this first half. And you wonder if there will be a point where Darren Sawatsky lets the rope go a little bit and gives his guys a bit more freedom, or maybe makes a sub to bring in a different style of player. May not come until later in the match, but someone like Landon Johnson, perhaps, who could stretch the back line a bit more. Dwyer available from the bench as well. He's had some derby moments in his past. Pass was on for Fitch, but Espinal not quite able to execute it. Neat juggle from the Spaniard via there. Bolts can stretch his legs. Chicago native, the former Badger, overcooks it as we head into the final minute of first half before stoppage time. Captain Kroll and co. keeping the sheet clean. The 18th edition of the Henny Derby. To our knowledge, there will not be any additional stoppage time here in the first half. It's been a clean match. Not too many breaks in the play. Richmond kickers at the moment seem pretty happy just to walk their way into the visiting locker rooms here at Breese Stevens Field with a 0-0 scoreline intact. Well, they play out a little bit, but it flicks last off of the kickers, and that will get us to the 45-minute mark. And Drew Klemp calls us to the halftime break. Well, there's been some huge moments missed by either team, and all the credit goes to Shipman for his one-on-one save to keep this match at 0. He's applauded by the flock end as Madison reached the break with a 0-0 scoreline in what is truly a must-win edition of the Henny Derby. Surely more drama to come after halftime, but we stand at 0-0. We're gonna take a quick break. We got a great halftime show coming up for you. Don't go anywhere, folks.
On the horizon, it's already here. At TrueStage, we've been building the future for nearly a century, empowering businesses to support their customers and members with what they need to thrive. Confidence in every step forward. With our range of simple and flexible financial solutions, we're not just ready for the future, we're shaping it, and we're helping you shape it too. Tomorrow isn't waiting, and neither should you. Learn more at TrueStage.com.
Come see how Dairyland fits your life. With affordable car insurance that fits your budget. And 24/7 customer service that fits your schedule. Even if you have coverage lapses or a bumpy driving history, we've got you covered. For 70 years, we've been helping people just like you get the car insurance they need. So why wait? Contact Dairyland today.
Getting the exact vehicle you want is easy at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton. Come in and sit down with one of our sales professionals and build the Volkswagen you want. Pick all the features, order it, and then sit back and relax, knowing you're getting your dream vehicle. The best things in life are worth waiting for after all. Check out our selection online or in person, with new vehicles arriving every day. Your perfect Volkswagen could already be waiting for you at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton.
Couldn't have picked a much better day for part 2 of the Henny Derby this season. Forward Madison, Richmond kickers 0-0 at halftime as we bring you our halftime show presented by Just Copy Cooperative. And a look at the news and notes around USL League One. Getting towards that playoff time, and it was playoff soccer for Greenville Triumph. Man, so close. That match was 1-1. That final score makes it look worse than it was, but Greenville triumphed so close to making the final against Hartford Athletic, ultimately falling as the last USL League One team playing in the Jägermeister Cup this year. But it was a very cool tournament, expanded from League One into the championship as well. And in this Division 3, we've seen record-setting attendance this season with a bunch of new teams coming in next year. Just a great time to be a USL League One fan, surpassing last season's total attendance. And we still got 10 weeks remaining in the campaign. And then AV Alta proving their stock against international competition. They played the Primera Division champions from El Salvador, came away with a 3-2 win. A very cool international friendly setup out there in Cali between one of the expansion teams bringing the juice this year to USL League One. Speaking of AV Alta, let's get a look at our reigning team of the week. Eduardo Blancas highlights 2 players from AV Alta in the team, along with his center back, Miguel Pajaro. But Ropapa Mensah, Isaac Anking, Max Schneider getting the nod up top in the team of the week, which is coached by Vincenzo Candela, as Los Bujos have been flying up the table. They've been an inspirational story for Richmond and for Madison this year, starting in the cellar, and Candela has led a real turnaround with Isidro Martinez and Max Schneider getting into the team of the week this week. Another big win for Union Omaha, and they are up above the playoff line. James Snedding got a nod, Isaac Anking. You'll see those guys out there in our second half as well. But it was a great week around USL League One. So we are going to go ahead and step aside. More halftime to come after this, but take a sip, sit back, and enjoy the rest of the Henny Derby coming up right after this.
One-timer! And the kickers are on the board. Ollie Wrights. It's Portland's pumping ahead 2-1.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines. From early mornings to late nights. From fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
We don't stop chanting, we don't stop drumming,
yelling and screaming and chanting.
Back from the dead in the 90th minute!
We'll follow them wherever, pretty much. That's just the love that we have for our team.
It's an S.
Not bad.
My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa.
Soy Juan Galindre. I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin. Justicia.
Justice.
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 Justice from the ground. Justice from the ground up.
Welcome back to the Dairy State, Madison, Wisconsin, the site for the second Henny Derby of the season. And it is jam-packed at Breese Stevens Field. 45 minutes to go, halftime score of 0-0, presented by Just Coffee Co-op. as we take a look at the USL League One standings, just to remind everybody here of what is on the line in this one. So this is coming into the action. Richmond Kickers and Forward Madison each on 23 points. If this scoreline stands, they'd each go up to 24, but really at this point, it doesn't do them a lot of good. They'd both be still on goal difference behind Greenville Triumph, who are also in action right now against South Georgia Tormenta. It's all about wins at this point in the season for the teams down here in the standings. Talked at halftime about how Union Omaha has jumped up the table, and the key for them, they've only got 3 draws on the season. If they haven't been winning, they lost, but they're able to get more wins on the board, and that's what Richmond and Madison really need to do down the stretch. Forward Madison will only have 1 home game remaining after this, so this is a truly huge opportunity. So we take a look at that upcoming schedule. This will show you all 5 matches except for Decision Day, which will come against Richmond Kickers in Part 3 of the Henny Derby down in Richmond. But before that, 4 out of 5 on the road. They play against Greenville Triumph, Westchester, 2 teams below the playoff line. Then you got Portland and Union Omaha, who are right in those 7-8 spots right now. And you know they will be pushing hard down the stretch. And then the last home game is against the league leaders in Chattanooga Red Wolves. Perhaps from a Forward Madison perspective, you're hoping that they could have something locked up by then, but we wouldn't say that's terribly likely with how tight League One has been this year. So a tough stretch of road matches to end the season for Forward Madison. Just adding to the emphasis of how important this match is. We have 45 minutes to try to find a winner. It was an eventful first half, but no goals to show for it. We will bring you the final 45 right after this short break. You're watching the Henny Derby on ESPN+.
The exact vehicle you want is easy at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton. Come in and sit down with one of our sales professionals and build the Volkswagen you want. Pick all the features, order it, and then sit back and relax, knowing you're getting your dream vehicle. The best things in life are worth waiting for after all. Check out our selection online or in person, with new vehicles arriving every day. Your perfect Volkswagen could already be waiting for you at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton.
I've always been a storyteller. I capture those beautiful moments, things other people miss. My health took an unexpected turn, but my care team put my needs in focus, designing solutions to support my ambitions. Now that's just a footnote in my journey, a small part of a story that's still being written. UW Health, remarkable.
Come see how Dairyland fits your life. With affordable car insurance that fits your budget. And 24/7 customer service that fits your schedule. Even if you have coverage lapses or a bumpy driving history, we've got you covered. For 70 years, we've been helping people just like you get the car insurance they need. So why wait? Contact Dairyland today.
Everybody taking in their halftime refreshments as we are just a couple minutes away from the start of the second half. For those of you who may have joined us a little bit late here at halftime, presented by Just Coffee Cooperative, let's show you our first half highlights. It was 0-0, but there were a couple big chances coming for on that was spilled by James Sneddon, but forward Madison not able to follow up on that opportunity. So here's how it shook out. Definitely a half controlled by forward Madison in possession. 58% of the ball, 8 shots to show for it, but just able to put 1 on target. Of course, that number does not include the one that hit the post. See the 3 offsides by Richmond kickers as they've tried to quickly move and quickly go in behind when they do win the ball back. It's been a defensive setup. They've definitely been playing on the back foot a little bit intentionally with that chance of striking in transition and hoping to find that deciding goal here on the road. Since they've switched to the back 3, they've been so much more effective defensively, and it's been 2 straight shutout victories for Richmond kickers. That's where they stand at halftime against the forward Madison team that has struggled to find the back of the net all season. So really playing out in many ways how we expected through 45 minutes. So the halftime talks delivered by Matt Glazer, and Darren Sawatsky, the forward Madison coach, holds a 5-1-2 advantage personally within this rivalry. Matt Glazer, quite connected to the Richmond area. He grew up in Fredericksburg, which is just about an hour down the road from Richmond, up I-95. He played goalkeeper at James Madison University, and he did mention that to me when I asked him what this rivalry means, but both managers were really in the same boat coming into this matchup. They understand how much it means to the fans, and that's what gives it meaning to them. But at the end of the day, these two teams, every game left this season is like a playoff game. And yes, this is the derby. Yes, it means more to the fans, but they need every possible point they can get, no matter who the opponents are at this point. There's going to be a need to take some risks in the second half, as we await to see those cards shuffled out of the deck. We are back underway at Breese Stevens Field. Thank you so much for joining us for the 18th edition of the Henny Derby, the second this season. A series which Madison currently leads 1-0 on the year. Third matchup to come on the very final day. In many ways, this feels like the game before the game. But as things stand, this is really not an effective scoreline for either team. It would keep them both in 12th and 13th place, and that is the last thing that they are looking for coming out of this important game. We see our one halftime switch there, and it is a bit of a positive one from Darren Sawatsky. Right on cue, he brings in Chandler O'Dwyer to replace Dakota Barnathan, so a slightly more attacking presence in the middle of the park, as Espinal shapes it up. The touch popped up for him so nicely. The timing of his connection, a fraction off. And it's a credit to Darwin Espinal that he's come in and set the expectation so high. It's almost like for, I'm sure, the many Milwaukee Bucks fans in the area, see Ray Allen shoot a 3. You kind of just expect it to go in, right? Well, Espinal has been that kind of sniper from range this season. 7 goals to his name. He had a habit of scoring bangers earlier on in the season and missed quite a bit of time through the summer with injury. A real loss for this team, but since they've moved to this back 3 formation, it's been an interesting problem for Darren Sawatsky, how to get all 3 of his best attacking players on the field at the same time. When you look at Kirkland, Terzaghi, and Espinal, it's resulted in Espinal playing a bit more of the 10 spot, which you'll see here. He's split between number 9, Kirkland, and number 32, Terzaghi. He'll press alongside them defensively, but with the ball, he tends to play just a touch deeper, whereas he was kind of starting more off the left wing early in the season. Their more classic 4-3-3 look. They're able to match up more or less man for man with the three-back system of Matt Glazer, so established here in Madtown. And it was interesting that both coaches kind of downplayed when I asked them about the matchup of formations. Matt Glazer said, yeah, they've changed to a three-back, but Richmond's going to play like Richmond. And likewise, Aaron Sawatsky, he said, hey, we've known how to match up with Madison's three-back for years. We've had to make some changes in games before. This is nothing new for us either. It's more about trying to find the best solutions for his team with who they've got available, and also the reality of this final stretch that they need to be a little bit more solid in order to put enough points on the board to earn a playoff spot. Since they've gone to the three-back Richmond, the results have improved, and no reason to change. This is their third straight game with the same starting lineup. Been a rarity this year for the Roos. Throw comes in from Christopher Garcia. A lively first half from him. Nearly had a couple of assists from crosses out on that right wing-back position. Coming in his first season from El Paso Locomotive. And he's a player who actually worked with Matt Glazer back in the academy at Real Salt Lake. And Glazer was working with Real Monarchs. Came up through that system and was a player who knew and trusted Glazer. They had that relationship established ahead of the season, and they looked for a new man out wide. He was the perfect guy to plug into Glazer's 3-4-3. Took him a little bit of time to get into the starting lineup, but hasn't seeded it since. Jake Kroll, an ever-present member, has the cross, digs it out. Seufert with the header. O'Dwyer wins another. And our first yellow card of the match issued quickly in the second half. Jason Garcia going in the book. Sorry, Jason Ramos, pardon me. Talking about Christopher Garcia too much. Ramos, another player who leaned on his relationship with Matt Glazer to get a spot in this team. He played back in 2023, the last couple months of the season. He came in from Minnesota United and was trying to recover from some injuries. He spent about a year and a half out, but he was training by himself, hit up Glazer, and found his way back into this Madison team. And with Mitch Osmond out, that was a spot they really needed some help, but his vocal leadership and experience back there has really paid off for forward Madison. Murphy looking for Villader, who had room. Murphy couldn't find him. Other body hits the deck as this game gets a little bit stretched here into the 52nd minute. Terzaghi thinking dangerous thoughts, has a strike. Shipman was at least a little concerned. But you love to see it from Terzaghi. You could see him just considering his options when he first picked up that ball, and as soon as he put his head down, started running at Kroll, he was always going to end in a shot. Forced a save out of Shipman in the first half as well, coming off a goal against Westchester in their last match. El Rey has been the most decisive player in the history of this series. 3 game-winning goals to his name over the years. Player that has found his way into the bad graces of a few of those forward Madison fans, thanks to those results. But what a joy to watch over the years. 62 League One goals and counting. Through ball won't find Beckett Howell, but it does generate a corner for the visitors. Here comes the service. Flicked on at the near post. Dorado collects it. Out the backside, Garcia. Right at the sideline, won't reach it before Seufert. Richmond have not been overly dangerous on the few set pieces that they've had. It was an area of struggle for forward Madison in that AV Alta match, where 5 of the 6 goals in that game came on set pieces, 2 penalties. And corners, free kicks. It was quite the statement on the state of USL League One when you saw a matchup between 2 of the highest possession teams in the league. AV Alta on pace to break a record for average possession in League One. And Madison not all too far behind. And then to see that game decided by 5 dead ball moments was rather telling. Just look at who's top of the league. Chattanooga Red Wolves prepared to set a record in the opposite direction with the least amount of average possession over the course of a season. Doesn't always lead to goals. Madison have had more of it in this match. Richmond controlling at the moment with Marcelo Lodge. Spots the ball over the top to Kirkland. Well marked by Jake Kroll as it falls into the hands of Shipman. Dorado. And King has not made as much of a mark on this match as he did against AV Alta. Clipped over the top. Dorado with a positive touch. Skewed in. It was a half shot, a half cross. Dean Bolts was there at the back post, but arriving late. Let's see if Dorado had eyes on goal. Doesn't ever really give a look across. I think he's taking that himself, and he's got the quality to do so. Unable to find the bottom corner. With 5 goals this year, and without Derek Gebhardt tonight, he is the man called upon. His partner up top, Bolts, making his first start for forward Madison here in the derby. Actually had a chance within the first 5 minutes of the match that he sent over the top, but other than that, he's been relatively anonymous. Bolts comes a little deeper to pick it up this time. The 19-year-old shifting it out wide. Bringing Timmy Mell into the play. And lost in the lights is Christopher Garcia. Oh, absolutely set up Beckett Howell to play the ball across, but unable to angle it close enough to a teammate. Does draw the foul, though, for Espinal, and this is a good free kick position for forward Madison. How about Garcia? Fancy footwork. Pushing Espinal with his foot in the proverbial cookie jar. Soccer fan SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Here comes the service right on the 6-yard box. Every cross that fails to find its target, every spell of ineffective possession, the tension just seems to grow here. There will be a moment where someone takes a risk. And the longer this goes, we already expected it to be a tight match, but the more and more it seems like one goal is going to decide this game. Toronto forced back. Villader sets it up, curled in. He's looking for Garcia on the far post, and Murphy whistled as he tried to gain it back. And he talks his way into Drew Klemp's book. He will join Jason Ramos on a yellow card. Make that his 8th of the campaign. And into space goes Joshua Kirkland. Terzaghi was waiting in the middle. Ramos alert to it. Kirkland searching for an opportunity to make up for his first half opportunity that was saved by Shipman. He couldn't have asked for a better chance one-on-one with the goalkeeper. It was the moment that Richmond were looking for, set up by Terzaghi. Another chance on the turnover. Building for Espinal. Terzaghi spinning, striking! He knows he could have done better with that. Kirkland calling for a sub as well. Let's have another look. Terzaghi shifting across the last defender. Good job from Murphy to put his body in front of that ball and force Espinal's shot a little wider than he wanted. So a stoppage of play around the hour mark. Still scoreless in the 18th Henny Derby in front of a raucous forward Madison crowd here at Breese Stevens Fields. An occasion where we celebrate the best parts of black soccer culture, a rivalry started by Richmond's Elliott Barr and forward Madison's Kyle Carr. Originally over a bet on a bottle of Hennessy for the winner, but it has grown into so much more than that, and they've both spoken about how the friendship that they've been able to develop over the years has been one of the most rewarding aspects of what the Henny Derby has become. They've been able to meet up in person time and time again. And tonight is the first time that Elliott Barr has actually ever attended a match in Madison. A rivalry that started 6 years ago, but Barr works as a local teacher, hard to get those extra days off. And the timing just never quite worked out, but Carr was able to host him this week as they took the party up north. And a new man will enter the fray in the form of Landon Johnson, a goal scorer in the last match. Johnson still just 18 years of age, though this is his 3rd season here in the League One roster. Hasn't made a ton of appearances over the years, but he was the youngest pro signing and the very first one to sign out of the academy under Darren Sawatsky for Richmond Kickers. Starting a pipeline that has produced the likes of Sneddon, Garnett, Howell, and plenty of others. He comes on to spell Kirkland, and he will provide a little bit of extra speed up top compared to the departed number 9. Terzaghi and Espinal still out there, though. We hear that Matt Glazer may be responding with some changes of his own. Pieces on the chessboard starting to move around. Shipman needs to move quickly here to save the corner, and he does so. But now he's in an awkward position in the corner. Can't give the ball away here. Terzaghi was not able to keep it under his spell. A rarity for the Argentine. And now the other way come the Flamingos. Garcia accidentally passed his man. Oh, a slip from Ang King. Villader tried to craft something out of that situation. Ang King is down. It was an awkward fall that he took. I believe his foot got caught in the turf as he attempted to swing at that shot. But Richmond trying to take advantage of the situation. Dwyer on the ball. There comes Ang King. I was wondering if he was going to make his way back into the shot. Richmond kickers with no interest in kicking the ball out to try to get him any attention. And they are under no obligation to do so. Ramos must be careful. It's another giveaway in a tight position. A wag of the finger from Drew Klemp. He isn't having that as a penalty to decide the Henny Derby, potentially. But Terzaghi's looking for it. Then in vintage form. Scheming up a storm up there. And now it's a forward Madison player who's gone down, a couple of them in fact. Ang King was waiting to see if he was going to continue. He did well to fight his way back into it. You see the strapping on his leg, and I believe that left leg was the one that got caught up under him. Hopefully nothing recurring for Ang King, a player who came in on loan, and it was with the intention of getting some more minutes in his legs. Ang King missed 19 months of football from October 2022 to May of last year. Since he returned to the pitch, he's only made 21 appearances. But he will depart as Devin Boyce enters the fray alongside Garrett McLaughlin, two players who can absolutely decide a match. Our festival food substitutions. Two longtime League One standouts. Boyce, a double winner with Union Omaha once upon a time. McLaughlin dates back even further. And outside of our man Terzaghi on the other side, McLaughlin has scored the most goals in League One history. 33. Get no Derek Gebhard for this one. He is not available, was not from the start, was not on the bench. So they've had to go with different options. Dorado still out there for the home side, but it's a corner for Richmond. As the fans whoop and the ball loops. They'll have to do it all again. This will be the 5th corner of the match for Richmond. None for forward Madison. They've defended these opportunities well to this point. After conceding from a corner from this side against Avialta. And Dwyer and Cella causing havoc. A back post ball. Johnson can't get there. Told you in our keys to the match set pieces would be important, but Richmond has not delivered just yet. Devin Boyce with his first touches of the ball in the attacking half. Christopher Garcia, a constant supply line from the right. He can't keep his cross in play, but more positive actions from Garcia. He's got a new partner to work with in Boyce. Trying to craft something up on the right side of the Madison formation. Done very little to trouble James Sneddon. Head into the final 20 minutes of the match, still scoreless. Can't watch the match? Turn on SiriusXM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on SiriusXM FC 157 and the new SiriusXM app. Need a goal from someone if we are to avoid just the third draw in Henny Derby history. And this, the 18th edition of the match. Richmond has not won here at Bree Stevens since 2022. It's the home side. It's McLaughlin. Routed out by the white shirts. Great flick from Terzaghi to bring Fitch forward up the right. Has to pull back for help. And again, Terzaghi, we saw it in the first half as he spun his own defender. That time the flick frees a teammate. This looked very sharp and dangerous. Both for himself and others. Espinal. Trying to work the 1-2, takes it off his chest, Terzaghi! Another shot for El Rey. I believe the whistle may have gone beforehand, and bad news for Terzaghi as we do look at this replay. He is down on the pitch, clutching his leg after that extended strike. See the frustration on his face, the way he was playing. To cramp up now, hopefully that's all it is. But if it's something more for the aging striker, they may have to be careful with him. They've already taken Kirkland off. So the forward options are thin in terms of what's left on the bench. They could bring in Hayden Anderson. They could bring in Adrian Billhard, neither natural strikers. They could also move O'Dwyer or Espinal up into the center forward position alongside Johnson. There are some options, but I quite like Terzaghi. See what kind of help he can get from the training staff. Down goes the pickle juice. Have some chaser, my friend. And we hope that you are having a drink with us tonight. It's been a pleasure to bring you this Henny Derby match here in Madison on ESPN Plus. A busy night around League One as the playoffs rapidly approaching. We've said it before, we'll say it again. A draw is not good enough. Plain and simple. Both coaches told me that. And it doesn't take long to look at the standings to find out why. If the score stays like this, both these teams will remain in 12th and 13th place on 24 points. And that gap towards the 8th and final playoff spot will grow. Coming into the night, Madison predicted to have a 27% chance to make the playoffs. Richmond given just 16% odds. A win would change those. A man down in the middle, McLaughlin, asking for sympathy from the referee and does not get it here. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Fitch. An unbecoming tackle from behind. You can win the ball from that angle, and it doesn't make much difference in the eyes of a referee. Murphy smartly getting his leg in between the ball and Fitch as he reached in. The kicker's right back did seem to win some of the ball, but whistled for the infraction. Got a pretty clean game, though, as Boyce looks for Dorado. Villader juggling. Sends a shot deflected. And it could have gone anywhere. The high fives in the end for Marcelo Lage, who threw his 6'5" frame at the shot from Villader. See Villader juggling, trying to create chances for himself a few times. This will bring up our first Canopy Wealth Management corner of the match for Madison. Swung in by Boyce, a rising header as Ramos got above everybody. Macias. McLaughlin rising, and it's out to Nico Brown. Fresh legs on the right side. The form of the Jamaican winger. Knocked out behind. This will be another Canopy Wealth Management corner. Canopy Wealth Management is donating $50 to Forward Madison FC's mini pitch fundraising project. For each corner kick taken by FMFC this year. Villader takes this one short. Scooped in. Ramos there. Second ball. Sneddon has to come. He kicks it away. And he draws a foul in the process. Unconventional goalkeeping, but convincing nonetheless. Take another look at this. That is just classic James Sneddon, throwing himself around like a rag doll. Very much part of the young man's style. He is absolutely fearless. Plays with 100% confidence, says Darren Sawatsky, who prepares 3 changes here. Looks like Juan Galindra is set to come on for Forward Madison as well. As Glazer and Sawatsky empty out the reserves. Galindres comes in for Luca Dorado. That's the end of the night for the Brazilian forward, who's managed a knock over the last couple of games, maybe not available to go the full 90 minutes here. His effectiveness wore down in the second half, and França and Billhard will have to wait to enter. Andres, our festival food switch. And he's a proven goal scorer in League One. Just the 1 goal in the league this season. His expected goals mark all the way up at 3.62, and he's only stuck 1 in the back of the net. Some might say he's due. McLaughlin's had very similar numbers this season. He spreads it out wide to Nico Brown. Kroll. 2 Flamingos interfering with one another. That's kind of been the theme of the night for forward Madison. Good ideas, but the execution just has not been there. So we will see this triple change now. Bill Hard and Anderson, a couple of new attackers for Richmond Kickers. Franza, a center back swap. We'll see who he comes in for. Clyde Cella will be the defender to depart, so that's a straight swap. As Franza enters. And the switch on the left, we'll see Beckett Howell come off, and Terazaghi does eventually make his way to the bench. Bill Hart on an attack, Anderson on the wing for the final 10 minutes. As all the cards have now been laid on the table. We set up for a fabulous finale in this great League One rivalry. Short of chances here in the second half. The big moments came in the first 45. You just sense that there is some late game drama to come. It's the way of this derby. 17 of 18 matches decided by a goal or less. We've seen stoppage time winners in the past. We see a ball played through. And a risky touch from Lodge, but he's able to get it back to James Sneddon. Fitch heads along, and if he had kept that in play, Johnson could have had a run. With Terzaghi off, it looks like Darwin Espinal is playing up top alongside Johnson. Espinal in a little bit more of his natural position. You got Bill Hard coming in just underneath, kind of into that 10 spot where Espinal was playing earlier in the match. Soifert and O'Dwyer forming the line behind him. Just one home match remaining for forward Madison after this. So important to give it everything they've got to get the full 3 points from Richmond Kickers here. They won the first match this season 2-1. A win here would be good enough to secure the season series and secure the painted Henny bottle that is so greatly cherished by Kyle Carr and the Featherstone Flamingos. It currently resides in Richmond, as it has 4 out of the 6 seasons since this rivalry was born. They will meet once more on decision day down at City Stadium, where a crowd of Richmond Kickers fans are watching as we speak. There you see the titles. Madison 2019, 2022, 2023. Hooked in towards the back post. Nobody home for the Flamingos. Attacking towards the Flock end. You just wonder what a game-winning moment would do to galvanize this fan base. They haven't had a lot of goals to cheer for this season. 3 wins at home and 13 tries. A stunning 7 home draws for forward Madison. Leaving a lot of points on the table that they could really use in this playoff race, but all that is behind them now, and the opportunity lays in front of them. A 0-0 canvas on which to work. They've struck the post tonight. Though Richmond kickers probably had the best chance of all through the since substituted Josh Kirkland. Forward Madison patiently builds. Now the switch of play arrives with Nico Brown working against Hayden Anderson. Substitute on substitute. The lack of connection emerges once again. Anderson. Johnson ahead of him. Espinal brings Fitch into the play. Fitch has to go all himself. Didn't have another run supporting. It seemed like Richmond either didn't have the legs or didn't have the interest in throwing that one extra number forward and taking that risk. Talked about it in our UBS keys to the match that Madison need to take a couple of those risks and put some extra numbers into the attack at times. Complete stalemate through 85. Macias around the corner for Juan Galindres. The Colombian turns to find Kroll. It's deflected away, well defended by Richmond. Staying steady in their block and closing all the lanes. There might be one for Boyce. He knocks it back to Kroll. Viader, dangerous ball. Sneddon without the safe hands, but he's helped out by Marcelo Lage. The effort applauded by Jason Ramos as he tries to stir his team into a final push. Have a quick look at it. Viader puts it exactly where it needs to be. They just needed a committed run into the middle. Viader leaves it a little short for Nico Brown, but Murphy will keep it alive here. Trying to draw the foul, and even he wasn't terribly committed to it, but did enough to get Drew Klemp's attention. Have a interesting little switch here. Verdi Souza comes into the play. Our Festival Foods substitution. He replaces John Murphy, a defensive central midfielder. Souza, as far as I've ever seen him, has only ever played on the wing. Galindres pairing with McLaughlin up top for now. Souza hangs at the edge of the area. Ball to the back post. Headed half-heartedly. Kroll sends it over the top. 2 minutes remain plus stoppage time. We didn't get any stoppage time at the end of the first half. And Murphy will take the long way around to get some fives from the flock. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Lachlan sets it for Boyce. Eyes the pass over the top for Galindres, who wants to let it fall. Tried to get it back to McLaughlin. Thought Galindres might have fancied a shot for himself. Joined us late. No Derek Gebhard in this match. Madison's all-time leading goal scorer in the Henny Derby and in the entire history of the club. Likewise, the historic scorer Terzaghi had a nice game, but has since been subbed out. A match lacking in magic, but a great occasion as always in the 18th edition of the Henny Derby. Stoppage time brought to you by Just Coffee Co-op. Tells us there is about 5.5 more minutes to play for someone to step up and be a hero. Given away cheaply at the back by Ramos to set up an opportunity for a throw-in. Hayden Anderson does like to take them long when given the opportunity, but he may opt for the short one. Referee telling him to hurry things up. It's knocked right back to the throw-in man, and now headed out by Madison. Boyce gets it to the feet of McLaughlin. So creative in transition. He's got Souza out to his left, but look how many white shirts are back for Richmond. Absolute commitment from the roadside. Nico Brown crafts in a ball. Took a touch behind, and that sets up a Canopy Wealth Management. Nope, it will be a throw. So we'll hold our next donation to the mini pitch, but Madison get it back in play quickly. Headed down, Devin Boyce has a shot, backheel, it's in! Souza has done it! The flock end erupts, and we might just have a winner in Madison. Papo Souza, the man of the hour, as the clock almost struck midnight in the Henny Derby. It's a great knockdown. It's ingenuity. It is simply magic. And it is Souza at the death, pushing it past with the back of those pretty gold boots, and sending the crowd into absolute raptures. And should this hold, this will clinch the Henny Derby series for Madison this year. They went into Richmond and won back in March. It remains their only road win of the season. But the telling goal in the 92nd minute, brought to you by Dairyland Insurance. It is the sub, Faraday Souza. Two minutes left for Richmond to respond. And can Madison see this over the line? Everybody on their feet now. Hurled in by Anderson. And this will be out for a corner. And hear the Flamingos cry. Looks like another corner. As Madison did not deal with it comfortably. But anything will do at this point. 1 minute remaining. Back post ball, header from Bill Hard. And Shipman is behind it. He takes his time on the turf. And those blades of Bree Stevens artificial grass will feel like home to Burn Shipman right now. What a performance. You look back to his first half save on Joshua Kirkland. That was a real sliding doors moment in this match. Kirkland was all by himself, nobody within 25 yards of him in a complete one-on-one situation, and Shipman stood firm, held his ground, and made a save. We've crossed the 96-minute mark. There may be another 30 seconds or so tacked on for that stoppage time goal. That came from Sosa at the final moments. And Kroll's defending, strong as ever. The captain, ever present in the forward Madison side, looking to see his team to a crucial second Henny Derby win this season and jump within 1 point of the USL League One playoff line. Shipman won't mind a yellow if there was one handed to him. He's told to hurry it up. Can't be much time left now. Kroll powers it forward. Galindres taking as much time as he can, out for a throw, but we're crossing 97 minutes. Whistle to lips, and we have a winner in Madison. It took 92 minutes. But Faraday Souza, without a doubt, our man of the match, presented by Festival Foods, as he is the headline man in this brilliant, brilliant derby. Showcasing all the best of black soccer culture and what supporters mean in lower league soccer. And it's he who delivers a moment that will go down in history. Matt Glazer with a gleeful embrace. Souza has lacked for moments in a Madison shirt, but you score in this match and you're remembered forever in the flock ends. What a match. Well, it all came down to one moment. We're gonna show you the full-time stats and highlights to wrap this whole thing up. after a short break. Your final score, Forward Madison 1, Richmond 0, as the Mingos clinch the Henny Derby here in Madison.
Tomorrow isn't on the horizon, it's already here. At TrueStage, we've been building the future for nearly a century, empowering businesses to support their customers and members with what they need to thrive. Confidence in every step forward. With our range of simple and flexible financial solutions, we're not just ready for the future, we're shaping it, and we're helping you shape it too. Tomorrow isn't waiting, and neither should you. Learn more at TrueStage.com.
They soak in the scenes of a derby win in the Dairy State. Papo Souza, the match winner, coming on late as a sub. And look what it means to the Forward Madison fans. Your final score presented by Rhyme, 1-0 in favor of the Mingos. Let's take you through our full-time highlights and see how this thing played out from the very, very start. We had to wait 92 minutes for a goal, but there was plenty of action before that. An early chance came off the post at the feet of Aiden Macias. Everybody getting involved for Madison. And this was a telling moment in the match. Josh Kirkland clear through. Bernd Shipman denying him at close range. He had options, Kirkland. He will be thinking about this one all the way back to Richmond. They have to regroup and play on Wednesday against Portland Hearts of Pine. But the pressure kept mounting. They tried to put that one behind them as Terzaghi had a shot. He played great tonight, but wasn't able to make it the full 90. Dorado threatening goal just before halftime as well. In the end, Forward Madison would ramp up about 2 expected goals in this match to just 0.36 for Richmond, and we see it towards the end as the pressure grew. And this, our play of the match, Souza with the game-winning goal, presented by Dairyland Insurance, a match-winning goal that will be remembered for ages in the flock end. Can't blame him for taking the shirt off. I think he'll take the yellow card and any associated paperwork. No problem at all. There were 3 yellows for Forward Madison, but they dominated the rest of the stats. 60% possession, 14 shots. They only managed 2 on target, and there were some stretches of this match, if we're being honest, where you wondered if the Mingos were actually going to break the deadlock. Eventually they did, despite 8 corners from Richmond. Those were the chances that they had. Their game plan, for the most part, went as planned for Darren Sawatsky. They were never able to find that goal, and it was Madison in the 92nd minute with Faraday Sosa becoming the hero and a new legend born in the Henny Derby. I mean, listen, you can say all you want about the stats presented by Rhyme here, and they do tell a story, but the dominant storyline, it all comes down to the fans when Forward Madison and Richmond Kickers face off. Another Henny Derby in the books. Madison clinches the season series, and the finale will take place on Decision Day as the playoff chase continues. A huge 3 points for Forward Madison. I want to give a big thank you to our whole USL League One crew on ESPN+. My name is Parker Johnson saying good night.
Copyrighted telecasts of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.